The Supermarine Spitfire. The name alone evokes images of sleek design and raw power. This single-seat fighter aircraft became synonymous with British resilience during World War II. The Spitfire was more than just a machine, it was a symbol of hope, a beacon of defiance against the encroaching darkness of Nazi Germany. Its distinctive elliptical wings and roaring Rolls-Royce Merlin engine captivated the hearts of a nation fighting for its very survival. Pilots lauded its agility and firepower, making it a formidable opponent in the deadly aerial ballet of dogfights. The Spitfire was instrumental in securing victory in the Battle of Britain, holding the line against the seemingly unstoppable Luftwaffe. However, this iconic aircraft harbored a dangerous secret, a flaw that threatened to cripple its combat effectiveness and tip the scales of war in favor of the enemy. The mighty Spitfire, the pride of the Royal Air Force, possessed a critical weakness: its engine. The Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, the beating heart of the Spitfire, was a marvel of engineering, capable of propelling the aircraft to speeds exceeding 350 miles per hour. But this powerful engine held a critical design flaw within its carburetor. This flaw, seemingly insignificant at first glance, had the potential to spell disaster for Spitfire pilots engaged in the heat of battle. The carburetor, responsible for mixing air and fuel for combustion, featured downward-pointing fuel outlets. This design worked flawlessly during level flight. However, the dynamics shifted dramatically during a dive, a maneuver frequently employed in the chaotic world of aerial combat. As the Spitfire pitched forward into a dive, inertia forced the fuel away from these downward-pointing outlets, effectively starving the engine of vital fuel. The result was a sudden and terrifying loss of power, rendering the aircraft momentarily helpless. Imagine the plight of a Spitfire pilot, locked in a deadly duel with a German Messerschmitt Bf 109. The pilot pushes the stick forward, initiating a dive to evade enemy fire, only to have his engine sputter and die, leaving him at the mercy of his attacker. This critical engine flaw became agonizingly apparent during the Battle of Britain, a pivotal air campaign that raged in the skies over England in the summer and autumn of 1940. The fate of Britain, and perhaps the entire free world, hung precariously in the balance as the Royal Air Force valiantly defended the nation against the relentless onslaught of the Luftwaffe. Spitfire pilots, outnumbered but undeterred, fought with unwavering courage and skill, relying on the agility and firepower of their aircraft. However, the engine cutout problem, now a terrifying specter haunting every dive, threatened to undermine their valiant efforts. Reports flooded in from battle-weary pilots, describing harrowing near-death experiences as their engines sputtered and died during crucial moments of combat. The German Luftwaffe pilots, quick to exploit this weakness, gained a crucial advantage in dogfights. The Spitfire, once a symbol of British dominance in the skies, was now vulnerable to the predatory tactics of the enemy. The stakes were incredibly high. Each engine cutout could potentially result in the loss of a valuable aircraft, and more tragically, the life of a skilled pilot. The gravity of the situation was not lost on the engineers and scientists back on the ground. Frantic efforts were made to devise a solution, to exorcise the gremlins that plagued the Merlin engine. Top engineers, brilliant minds like Cyril Lovesey and A.D. Fisher, grappled with the problem, working tirelessly to find a fix. Modifications were designed, tested, and implemented, each holding the promise of a solution, only to fall short of expectations. One proposed solution, intended to address the fuel starvation issue, inadvertently created a new problem known as a rich cut, where the engine would be flooded with an excess of fuel, leading to its own set of potentially catastrophic consequences. The pressure mounted with each passing day as the Battle of Britain raged on. The fate of the Spitfire, and perhaps the entire war effort, rested on the shoulders of these dedicated engineers. They understood the urgency of the situation, the lives that hung in the balance, but the elusive solution seemed to remain just out of reach. The clock was ticking, and the need for a definitive fix became increasingly desperate. Enter Beatrice Tilly Schilling, a gifted engineer at the Royal Aircraft Establishment. Schilling, a woman of remarkable intellect and determination, possessed a passion for engineering and a deep understanding of the inner workings of engines. In a world dominated by men, she had to fight tooth and nail to earn her place at the table, battling societal prejudices and institutional barriers that sought to confine women to more traditional roles. But Schilling refused to be relegated to the sidelines. She was a force to be reckoned with, a brilliant mind that defied expectations and shattered stereotypes. When news of the Spitfire's engine woes reached her, Schilling immediately recognized the gravity of the situation. She understood the critical role the Spitfire played in the war effort, and she was determined to use her skills to make a difference. Working with unwavering focus and a keen eye for detail, she immersed herself in the intricacies of the problem, dissecting the Merlin engine and analyzing every aspect of its design. Schilling's brilliance shone through in the elegant simplicity of her solution. She devised a small, unassuming brass restrictor, a seemingly insignificant component that would later become legendary. This restrictor, about the size of a thimble, was designed to be inserted into the fuel line of the Merlin engine's carburetor. It acted as a flow limiter, preventing fuel starvation during dives while ensuring a consistent flow to the engine. Dubbed Miss Schilling's orifice, it was a testament to her understanding of fluid dynamics and practical solutions. The beauty of Schilling's solution lay in its effectiveness and ease of implementation. The restrictor could be installed quickly, without extensive modifications. This meant the entire Spitfire fleet could be retrofitted in weeks, crucial in the escalating air war. Schilling played an active role, traveling to airfields on her Norton motorcycle, overseeing installations. The impact of Miss Schilling's orifice was immediate and profound. Spitfire pilots reported a dramatic improvement in performance. The Merlin engine, now equipped with Schilling's device, no longer sputtered during maneuvers. Luftwaffe pilots found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned. Schilling's invention tipped the scales in favor of the Allies. Beatrice Schilling's contributions extended far beyond the Merlin engine. She developed solutions for engine performance in freezing conditions. Her work ensured the effectiveness of Allied aircraft in combat. Despite challenges, Schilling earned recognition. She was awarded the Order of the British Empire in 1948. Beatrice Tilly Schilling's story is one of courage and ingenuity. Her legacy reminds us that even small inventions can profoundly impact history.